Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, Emmy Award-winning actor, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision. Especially when you're galloping side-saddle down a countryside road on a horse named Archibello, who seems to have only one speed, high. And pulling on his reins only seems to encourage him to go even faster. So, of course, my body hurts and my joints ache, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life. Oh, Archibello!
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
As soon as this scene wraps, I'm going to kiss the ground, thank Archibello for his outstanding performance, feed him a carrot, and visit brainhealth.gov.
Find out how you can make the most of your brain as you age at brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of people with pets say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Turns out that those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number, 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddles or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months old. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Tuesday, January number 9 in the year of our Lord 2018. Welcome to all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites across the globe. Glad that you are here, tuned in this morning. It is warming up out there in northern New England. It is a fantastic day out there in northern New England. Not gonna lie, gotta like it. We're up to, we're actually expected to hit something like 45 degrees Thursday? I think it's Thursday. Well, I will believe it when I see it. Right now it's out there. I guess it is close to, it's above freezing. It's around 34, 35 degrees. Yeah, so, we've broken through the Arctic blast, at least for now. We're expecting snow by the end of the week as well. More snow. Yeah, hey, it is January. But it is, and frankly, it's not unusual for a day or two in January to get up into the high 30s, low 40s. Happens all the time. Just like it does during the coldest month of the year, in February. We often, sometime in January or February, we often see something that they call Indian summer, where we have, about 5, anywhere, from 4 to 7 days, basically, of summer-like weather. And during an Indian summer, it can actually get up into the 60s and even 70s. And this has been going on for as long as, why do you think they call it Indian summer? Because it's something that's been happening for a very long period of time. It's not something that's new. So it has nothing to do with global warming or man-made climate change. It's just something that happens. It's just the way the weather patterns are and the way the jet stream is. And sometimes the jet stream will twist and go up north, which means it pulls a lot of the warm southern air up north. And it gives us a reprieve for a little bit. And it usually happens, every year. I don't know if we're going to get it this year, the way the jet stream can change in a heartbeat. We don't. That's one thing that we cannot predict. We have a hard time predicting what the jet stream is going to do because the jet stream really isn't affected by weather. It affects the weather, as far as I understand it. And it's very difficult to predict where it's going to go and how it's going to go. And there are a number of factors that influence the jet stream, yes, but basically, it is the biggest influencer out there, and it really determines how. I mean, look, if you got the jet stream that did what it did the past month, dipping way into the south, it's going to draw a lot of that Arctic and Canadian air southward, which it did, and we were cold for a while, very cold. So cold where people in Chicago were freezing to death, and a suburb of Chicago told a man, you can't if you keep housing homeless people on these cold nights, then we're going to condemn your house and take it from you. You remember that story? Yeah. Any case, here we are. We are about to kick it off this morning. It is big time. I got to tell you, the alternate social media out there. There's some alternate media out there, social media, and it's good. Some of it's good. Some of it I question. I really do. Gab.ai is a very interesting application. It is the alternate Twitter, and they claim that that they don't kick people off, they don't censor people unless they're just being totally illegal or totally rude. They don't censor people, unlike Twitter. And I so far on this Twitter purge, I've probably people that I have been following. Now it's not people that are following me. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that I am following. With no action done from me. So no action taken by me. Since the purge started, I've probably lost nearly 50 people that I follow. Now the vast majority of them were not, they didn't have huge numbers. They didn't, they weren't well-known stars or anything like that. But just the same, I often liked what they had to say. And they're gone. Either they were suspended or they were just basically summarily deleted by Twitter. And that's the Twitter purge that everybody's talking about. And it's continuing now. If you think it stopped, it hasn't. They're continuing to do it. And it's very easy for a conservative to be punished. All you have to do is get a useful idiot who's a liberal, who's offended by what you might say. And Twitter will usually come down on the side of the useful idiot. Now, if it's the other way around, Twitter will usually not come down on your side if you're the conservative. I'm just saying, I personally experienced such a thing. But Gab.ai claims that it does not do that. And they've upgraded the whole application a lot lately. I've noticed, but it's good. Now there's one that I'm not impressed with because when they keep changing it, it becomes more and more like Facebook, which means it's more and more difficult to use. It used to be very simple, and that is MeWe.com. MeWe, yeah, M-E-W-E, MeWe. Not impressed with it anymore. I understand that they have to make some changes in order to keep up, but they've made a bunch of changes to the application since I joined it some time ago that has made it more difficult, just like Facebook. Not to mention, it takes forever to load up on my computer. All the other social media applications, almost an immediate, even Facebook, almost an immediate upload. MeWe is the only one that takes forever. I don't know what that's about. It's because they claim they don't have ads and everything, and they don't do tracking and all that kind of stuff. So why does it take so long for it to load up? It's really kind of weird. That's just my criticism of it. Other people's, they may have found it to be their aspect or use of it may be different. Not mine. I hate to say it, but I probably will be dropping MeWe as my Facebook alternative. There are others out there. No, not MySpace. I know some people are thinking, well, go back to MySpace, right? No, not MySpace. Evidently, Justin Timberlake doesn't own MySpace anymore. He sold it, which is okay. Good for him. Hopefully he made a profit off of it. But no, MySpace is really more back into the artist and music realm. Well, that's where he took it. So, in any case, here we are on this Tuesday. And there is so much out there to discuss. We got some Bitcoin news we'll get into today. We've got some NFL news. Basically, before we get into the NFL news, and I wasn't going to cover this just yet, but Trump was cheered at the college football national championship game yesterday when he stood for the anthem. The crowd erupted. Now, President Trump took the field for the national anthem ahead of Monday night's college football championship game between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Trump was greeted with a roar at Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the home of the NFL's Atlanta Falcons. Trump faced cheers and jeers from the packed stadium with 71,000 attendees, but mostly cheers as he stood for the national anthem. Look, I'm telling you, people are serious about this stuff, and the NFL continues to have issues with it. With their whole look, the NFL thinks that they're having an issue with NFL game fatigue because of Thursday night football, and because they have Thursday night football, Sunday night football, and Monday night football. They think people are getting tired of watching football. That's not the case. Look, college football ratings are up. People are, and what is it? What are one of the sports that is constantly on in your face? Well, there's two of them actually. When baseball is on, I mean, these what do these guys play, like 160 games a year? Baseball is always on. It hasn't suffered the way the NFL has suffered. The NBA it's on 6 or 7 nights a week. Nobody's got NBA fatigue. So how the hell do we have NFL football fatigue? We don't, except for the fact that we're tired of what the NFL was doing. The other sports don't have this issue of players sitting and kneeling or during the anthem or locking arms in so-called solidarity they don't do it. So the fans are not offended by it. And, of course, they don't do that in college football, so the fans are not, offended by college football. But you can't, when you get to the playoffs, all of that other football fatigue stuff is over and done. It's a whole different game. All 4 NFL playoffs games see double-digit ratings decrease. That's right. The NFL had a disastrous weekend when it came to ratings. Numbers have been down all season, and it was more the same for the wild card games. The biggest surprise was the best game, Panthers versus Falcons, had the biggest decrease year over year. Markets were a big factor, but that was a competitive and entertaining game. Here's a breakdown. The Titans-Chiefs game, down 11% versus Raiders-Texans game. The Falcons-Rams game was down 10% versus last year's Lions-Seahawks games. Bills and Jaguars were down 10% versus the Dolphins and Steelers game last year. Panthers and Saints down 21% versus the Giants-Packers game last year. People are just sick and tired of the NFL. They still don't get the whole issue, and I think what part of their problem is that the NFL owners, even though with Jerry Brown, even though he was not happy about it, they extended Roger Goodell, who's the big problem of the whole NFL. They extended his contract. Look, if you want to crush the NFL, if you want to destroy the NFL, then you keep Roger Goodell around. That's exactly what the owners, all the football owners did. They kept him around and extended his contract, gave him like $50 million or something ridiculous like that, and he's going to be around for another few years. He's going to be around to properly manage the decline of the NFL. Remember that about Obama? Hey, we're no longer a big guy on the block. We're fading into history. So what you got to have is somebody who can manage that decline. So we're just not totally forgotten and destroyed. So we got to manage the decline. He's like Europe. Europe is declining. So we got to manage it. And this is the guy that is going to manage the decline of the NFL. He's going to manage it right out of business. Hey, we may get a competitor that helps the NFL along. You got people out there who are, some very deep pockets who are considering bringing back things like the USFL and, a true competitor to the NFL. We want to talk about monopolies. How is it that professional sports have such a monopoly? Well, they except for the NBA, baseball and football do get a lot of help from the government. Being sports monopolies, they really do. No, you can watch college. Well, college is not the same as professional. And look, do you ever get to see any Canadian football games? Do you know that? If you got a cable TV system, you probably get a Canadian cable channel or two. But yet you never see any Canadian football. I don't even think they show it on ESPN4. How many ESPN stations are there now? I don't know. You can get Australian rules football, but you can't get Canadian football. Why is that? Well, because Canadian football would be in competition with the NFL. Now you're probably saying, when does the Canadian football play? Well, Canadian football usually finishes up by the time the NFL starts because it just gets too damn cold up there to play in the winter. Like our NFL does. But they still butt heads with the NFL's preseason stuff in August. You can't have that. I'm just saying. They can't have it. And so we don't I've seen a few pro Canadian football games. Remember Doug Flutie didn't get drafted by the NFL, so he went up to the Canadian Football League, made a name for himself, and then came back to the NFL and the Buffalo Bills. He didn't do a bad job, did a pretty good job. I don't think they didn't win a Super Bowl ring, but a couple of playoff years there. So the CFL, Canadian Football League, is not just a bunch of people that couldn't hack the NFL. That's not the way it works. But you could. If you want to call it a minor league system for the NFL, go right ahead. But it works for Canadians; they like it. I don't see the CFL. I haven't heard about the CFL declining in ratings. Then again, I don't think at the CFL you have a bunch of football players who are kneeling for the Canadian national anthem. I don't think they do that up there.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Around the town when folks are snacking,
Bell's the brand, you'll find them packing.
the great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. At parties, dinner, or when you're lunching,
Bell's the brand that gets you crunching.
the great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell.
The potato chip that's made today is fresh today to be crisp today. So dip away, eat them any old way, and let the chips fall where they may.
In the bag or boxed in the pack,
Bell's the one that keeps you coming back.
'cause great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. Bell, swell.
So has the luster been dimmed or tarnished for former President Barack Hussein Obama? Yeah, it appears that he's getting some unexpected criticism for his lavish presidential library plans, including a test. Now, this is anybody remember the style of this thing? Yeah, it's kind of, well, in my book, it's kind of ugly. It looks like, well, frankly, if you're into UFOs and stuff, it looks like an alien spaceship. But yeah, it does. But evidently, there's going to be a test kitchen in there. In their effort to break the mold, this is from Fox News. The planners of the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago are taking heat for some less than lofty features in the sprawling new complex, namely a test kitchen. Yes, reports first surfaced last fall that the monument to the first black president's legacy was taking on an activity center vibe. There would be a museum, of course, but also a basketball court. You know, kind of like the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, or Pro Basketball Museum and Hall of Fame down in Springfield, Massachusetts. Yeah, it's got a basketball court there. It do. Now, I actually haven't been to the new one. Well, they built it. They built this new building, which was bigger than the old building, and it's prettier. It is. It's pretty. The old building is now the old part of the old museum, which is right next door to the new museum. Yeah, they built a new museum right next door to the old Basketball Hall of Fame. Part of the old one is now a gym workout club. Yeah, it's kind of apropos. But yeah, so the first reports first surfaced last fall that the monument to the first black president's legacy was taking on an activity center vibe, basketball court, a room for yoga classes, and a test kitchen to teach visitors about the full production cycle of nutritious foods. Because after all, we know, hey, I wonder if they're going to have a garden on the grounds. You know, like they did at the White House, a vegetable garden. How else are you going to be able to bring food into that test kitchen while you're doing yoga? A yoga at a presidential library. Can you imagine people coming in yoga stretch pants? Yeesh.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Can you imagine wanting to go to a presidential library? Now, look, if you've ever been to a presidential library, they are kind of they're kind of unique. Now, I've been to the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library down in Boston. It's I've been to a few of the smaller ones from the good old days back. We have here we have Pierce, President Pierce. We have his manse. Well, that's kind of like a presidential library. I mean, obviously it wasn't. The presidents just. It's only a recent phenomenon that presidents started building these monstrosities to put their legacy of their time in the White House into one spot. And for some of the older presidents, going way back, well, they've taken their old homesteads or their houses and they've moved them or their mansions and moved them or what have you, their childhood homes and moved them and put some of the stuff that they could find in there. And been to the Pierce Manse, as they call it. I don't know why they call it a manse, M-A-N-S-E. It's not a mansion, obviously. But, so can you imagine anybody wanting to go to a presidential library for a yoga class? I mean, honestly. Can you imagine anybody wanting to go to a president? I cannot imagine a bunch of liberals running around the Kennedy Presidential Library in yoga pants because they're going to the presidential library or annex. And that's the other thing that is different about the Obama Presidential Library is it's based around having multiple buildings, at least two. In some cases you might have an outbuilding that is used for storage or something like that. But no, these two big buildings plan to be useful. And one of the buildings is supposed to be the actual library. By the way, did you know that they're not actually going to have most of the president's papers are not actually going to be on display? They're not going to be there. Not even going to be on site. They're going to have digital copies of everything. So in other words, you're going to walk through this library. You know how easy it is to change a digital copy versus, well, I mean, in this day and age, you can fairly easy change a paper copy too. But you know how easy it is to change a digital copy or to take it down or put one up? This is just ridiculous. They're not actually. What do they get? Are they going to have replicas of everything? I mean, really, are they going to have it So they're going to have nothing but digital copies of at the Presidential Library. Why don't they have digital copies of Michelle Obama's healthy eating food? I mean, there's such a thing as about eating healthy. Sure, you can do that, but one of a reporter asked a question: does the president or former president really want to encourage his legacy to be that of a healthy lifestyle? Well, frankly, that's the only thing he's going to have left by the time Trump's done with Obama's legacy. There isn't a whole hell of a lot of it still left. Trump has done a fantastic job of unwinding, rewinding, unraveling a good portion of the Obama legacy. There isn't much left. So all he's going to have is what's in that library, and he might as well just go ahead and I guess, promote the fact that his wife was all about healthy eating and her war on junk food, which, by the way, is backfiring. Yeah, her war on junk. Well, you probably know about the sugar tax, the soft drink tax. There are well, it didn't work in New York City. Philadelphia imposed a sugary soft drink tax, and a lot of people in Philadelphia lost their jobs, and people are going outside of Philadelphia to buy their soft drinks because they're not paying the ridiculous tax. Outside of the city, remember, it's only the city limits. And if you have the only people who get harmed by this, it's not the middle class or the upper class. It's the poor people, because they don't tend to have the same ability to travel outside of the city, because they don't tend to own cars or have access to cars. I suppose they could if they. What are some of those rent-a-car services? But it's kind of pricey for that kind of stuff. So if a poor, I'll say it, if a poor black child wants a soda, he's got to pay the inflated price in Philadelphia, because he can't say, "Hey, Mama, can you go into the suburbs and buy us some soda?" Mama's going to say, "Child, we don't have no car. You go to the corner store and pay that inflated price." So this is who it's hurting. It's hurting it's hurting the working class, for one, because they're the ones losing the jobs, because all the people inside, all the producers are either shutting down or leaving the city, and the city isn't getting the kind of taxes that they thought they'd get. Isn't that a surprise? Surprise, surprise, surprise. You want people to cut back on something that you don't like, that you think is unhealthy, so you tax the hell out of it. And then when people either get it someplace else or stop buying the product, and you don't reach your tax revenue goals, then you're surprised? Well, that tells me that the whole thing isn't about somebody's health anyway. It's about revenue, tax revenue. And you were just hiding it under the guise of healthy living or healthy eating. They expected to reap a small reward out of taxing sugary soft drinks. And people said, "Oh, hell no, we ain't buying that." And they stopped buying it, and they're scratching their heads over there. The city fathers say, "Well, we thought we'd make $1 million, but we're only making $500,000. What gives?" Well, because you tax the hell out of it. That's what gives. You want people to stop drinking it, so they are. And of course, they're saying, "Well, we didn't expect people to stop drinking that much." Which tells me one thing: it's not about health. It's not about public. A lot of our taxes and fines and fees and all that it's not about public safety and public health. It's about tax revenue, folks. That's all it's about. They don't really give a shit about you or me. Yeah, I said it. They don't care. It's about. That's why whenever tax revenue for a certain, they call it a sin tax. So whenever sin tax revenue drops, what do? They look for a new sin to tax. Because this isn't about getting you to stop doing something. They expect you to continue to do it, but they expect you to pay through the nose to do it. It's kind of like the cigarette tax. Hey, we want people to stop smoking, but guess what we're going to do? We're going to take the cigarette tax. In many states, we're going to take the cigarette tax, and we're going to put it towards this CHIP program, this child health program. And so when people stop smoking, like they say they want people to do, the revenue to pay for this child chip health program drops dramatically, and they can't afford it. So they say, well, we didn't expect people to stop smoking that much. Well, we got to do something with the chip program. We got to fund it somehow. So we're going to raise taxes somewhere else. Let's look for another sin that we don't want people to do. It's not about your health. But hey, this is what the legacy of Obama is going to be left with. It's not even going to be a President Obama. It's going to be First Lady Obama's legacy. That's going to be promoted at the Obama Presidential Library. Is anybody, raise your hands if you're going to go to the Obama Presidential Library. We'll take an informal poll. Are you going to make plans to go to Chicago? Yeah, I would like to go to Chicago, actually. I've never been to Chicago. I have some friends in Chicago. They're telling me I should come to Chicago. Hey, all the violence, that's in 2 neighborhoods. We don't live near those 2 neighborhoods where all that violence is going on. We live in the safer part of town. Well, without them really saying it, they're not racist, obviously, because they're friends of mine. But without them really saying it, is that we live in the white neighborhood. all the death and destruction is happening in the black and Latino neighborhoods. Well, that's the truth. Do you see murders and death and mayhem happening in the financial district of Chicago, in the downtown district of Chicago, or in the white neighborhoods of Chicago? No. Kaminsky Park, all those kind of places. No, it's not happening there. It's happening in the brown people neighborhoods. So they want me to come to Chicago, and I'm like, yeah, I could come to Chicago, but I got to tell you, I said, well, yeah, I want to go to the Sears Tower. We don't call it the Sears Tower anymore. I said, I know, but I'm still calling it the Sears Tower because that's what it is. He goes, no, you don't want to go there. Like, why not? You can go to other places that are much better. Yeah, but that's the freaking tallest building in the continent, right? It doesn't matter. He says it's too expensive, it's too crowded, too dumb. There are better places with just as good as views of the city. But I don't know how you can get a better view than from being at the top of the tallest building in the city, but okay. Look, they live there. What am I supposed to say? No, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, they're telling me that there are plenty of things to do and places to go. I won't even have to come close to touching the bad neighborhoods, so I'll never be in danger. But putting on my list, the Obama Library is not going to be on it. Not gonna. Just saying, not gonna happen. By the way, here's a follow-up of a story that I mentioned not too long ago about Apple. Oh, it's not just Apple, but in tech companies in general, how especially your cell phones, there's a built-in obsolescence to all this electronic stuff. You can't tell me that they can't build electronic devices that can clean themselves or not leave all the mess behind and not slow down. I'm not talking about the battery life. Battery life is what it is. I mean, you're going to have to replace the battery after a while. After a while, crack it out. But everything else when it comes to the performance of these electronic devices, they diminish over time. And they give you all kinds of excuses, and then you say, well, I've got all these programs that are supposed to go in there. You keep having to buy a different program to go in there and clean this out and reconfigure this and reconfigure that and reformat this and reformat that to give you original performance, and it never goes back to the original performance. Well, and I've often said it's just like the car manufacturers used to do back in the 60s and 70s. Did you know that the car manufacturers used to build cars, American car manufacturers used to build cars to literally fall apart after a certain amount of miles? Built-in obsolescence, usually around the 100,000 mile mark. Because they didn't want people keeping their cars for 10 years. They want people turning them over and buying them at least every 5 years or sooner. And if you had a car that would go 250, 300,000 miles, well, you wouldn't buy it. Well, look at me. I got a 10-year-old car. 250,000 miles, still going strong. I bought it new with 50 miles on it. 49 actually is when I picked it up. I have no desire or need to buy a new car. Well, that's a manufacturer's death sentence. You make something too good that lasts too long. But this is what the electronic industry still does. And we put up with it. Yes, Paris prosecutors are now probing Apple over planned obsolescence. Yeah, Europeans are getting sick and tired of are being forced to, because nobody wants to spend. What's the new Apple 10 cost? Like $1,000? Who the hell wants to spend that kind of money on a damn phone? Well, Paris prosecutors have launched a probe of U.S. tech giant Apple over suspected planned obsolescence in some of its iPhone models. The investigation was opened last week and is being led by antitrust and consumer protection specialists in the French Economy Ministry. Look, these people are being slammed all over the place. Now, I know we like to say, well, they should just let Apple do what Apple wants to do. Well, I am all up for that. But I got to tell you, if they're going to charge me $1,000 for an electronic device, they better not be putting on stuff that I don't give them permission to put on after I buy it. And they sure as hell better not have built in a self-destruct button. Hey, after a year, your phone's not going to operate the way it used to. So you're going to get so frustrated in about 6 months, you're going to want to buy a new one. That's the way it works. I have told you people this, and it doesn't matter who it is, because everybody's, and Apple seems to be a big violator in this area. Because, hey, notice how the Europeans are not starting with any other tech giant. This kind of probe. They're not starting with Google. They're not starting with Microsoft or any other tech giant. Oh, no, they're starting with Apple. There's got to be a reason they're starting with Apple. I have never been an Apple fan. Never. No, I'm not saying Apple doesn't make good products, but I'm saying I have never been one who's had a desire to pay a stupid superior premium for electronic products that a lot of people seem to think that they should pay because it's Apple. I said, you got to be out of your mind. It's not that much better, especially today. I mean, I can go out and buy the Samsung 8, Galaxy 8 now, or the Note, for $600 or $700, and it's a better product than the Apple iPhone 10. And did you know that a lot of these other electronic products, they had facial recognition before Apple 10 did? And did you know that it's better than Apple 10? Apple 10 is being sued now in the Asian markets because evidently, as I brought you this story too, evidently Apple iPhones are racist. It can't tell the difference between Asian faces. Now, I don't know how. It's built in freaking China. I don't know how that's possible. But evidently, there are, and I read you a story about a Japanese family that had this issue, but evidently this is a widespread issue in South Korea and Japan where multiple faces can open a single iPhone when it's not supposed to. In other words, the iPhone cannot distinguish between Asian faces. And frankly, all Asians don't look alike. They don't. I don't. But evidently, that's a problem with Apple's got some big problems now.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
I know I'm on the opposite side of the realm here when it comes to Apple. I have never, ever been a huge Apple fan. Never. And if you've listened to this program since 2009, you would know that I've, even going all the way back then, I've never been a huge Apple fan. And I've given a number of different reasons for it. Because I didn't believe that their product was that superior to non-Apple products. And so it wasn't worth that tremendous premium in price. I mean, you could, there was a point in time when you go out and get sure, Apple desktops were a little bit faster, and graphic designers and everything liked Apples over PCs, and they were they weren't that much faster, but they were a little bit faster back in the day than the PC, but they weren't like $1,000 more faster. And when you could get a desktop for $500 or $600, a good one for decent one for $500 or $600, but and the equivalent of a Mac was $1,500, you got to ask yourself why. Oh, because Steve Jobs said so. That's why. I've got a premium product. Well, it wasn't all that premium. And versus what was already out there. That's why I just don't buy by name. People, some people are label whores. I heard that term once. I'm a label whore. No, I'm not. I'm a useful productness, useful product whore. It better do what I'm buying it to do. Because if I can't get a cheap version that'll do just as well as the expensive version, then I'll pay, and the expensive version does what I need it to do, then I'll buy the expensive version. But if the less expensive version does exactly what the expensive version does, I'll buy the less expensive version. I'm a product whore, not a label whore. I want my products that I purchase to do what they say that they can do to the best of their ability at that particular point in time for the lowest possible price. Yeah, call me cheap. No, I just say I'm frugal.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of french fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Let's rock this joint!
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Tuesday, January number 9 in the year of our Lord 2018, as we continue to dig and delve deep and deeper and deeper into the liberal psyche. I know it can be dangerous, and people say, Rod, don't go there, man. But I have been built by God in such a way where I can actually dive into the deepest, darkest spots of the liberal ocean and come out unscathed. I am that bright light. Just think of this as the Marianas Trench. I am that bright light at the bottom of the trench that scares all the darkness away. But in any case, just trying to get that picture. I come back still shining as bright as ever too. So they can't tarnish me in any form. And the reason is well, I think a lot of people have found out is that not that people try to bribe me in any way, but what they found out is I can't be bought. I am who I am, and what's the old saying? The World War II, damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead. So I'm just not gonna temper my message at all to placate some people. I know some people say, Rod, you're just too harsh. Oh, I guess I can get my message across without being overly harsh, but the message is still going to be the message. My delivery can be less harsh, sure. But the message itself, if you find the message harsh, that's not my problem. Well, I keep telling people, Well, maybe you could moderate or change the way you say it or think it. No. I can change the way I deliver it, but I ain't changing the way. You can't change the truth. The truth is the truth. It doesn't matter. I don't always like the truth. Well, you only talk about stuff you like. No, I don't. I don't always like the truth. Come on. Who does? But the truth don't care if I like it or not. Pretty much. That's just the way it is. And speaking of truth, I often wondered. Now, here's the truth. I often wondered about. Now, I wonder if Breitbart has an issue. What is Breitbart thinking? The publication. Not the deceased man, but the publication. I've often wondered what Donald Trump was doing hiring Bannon. During the campaign. I thought way back then when he hired, I don't know much about Steve Bannon, but what I do know about him, I don't know why Trump would have him. But here's a story from CNN, of all places. Before Donald Trump and Steve Bannon were enemies, they were allies. And not long before that, Bannon was part of the effort to sink Trump's presidential hopes, even if the Donald didn't know it. And so, in other words, before they were... I don't know. What would you call it? Before they were enemies, they were allies. And before they were allies, they were enemies. So does that make Bannon a frenemy? A conservative watchdog group led by Bannon tried to discredit Trump in the early stages of the 2016 Republican presidential primary by shopping a document alleging that Trump had ties to mobsters, according to conservative sources, and a copy. Anybody remember that? Now, I didn't know it was tied to Bannon, but there was something when Trump came down that escalator to announce there was some scuttlebutt, if you will, that was circulating because Donald Trump was in what? He was building massive buildings in New York City. And as everybody knows, it's very difficult to build anything in New York City without different construction unions. And everybody in New York City also knows that most of the construction unions are somehow tied to the mob. And so they were putting two and two together and saying 2 + 2 was 5 instead of 4 by saying, well, simply because Donald Trump was putting up buildings in New York City, he was giving money to the mob. Well, in other words, they were saying that he was complicit in mob activity. Well, no, he wasn't. But this is what they were trying to... Anybody remember? This was going back to 2015 now, folks. Now, come on now. And CNN is saying that Steve Bannon, is responsible for this. The anti-Trump opposition research was the work of author Peter Schweitzer for Government Accountability Institute, which he co-founded with Bannon back in 2012. So evidently, CNN is putting two and two together and coming up with 4 for once instead of 5. And even if Trump didn't, trust me, they're trying to say, well, see, Trump couldn't even figure out that Bannon was a problem, so he hired Bannon, so Trump doesn't know what he's doing. Look, there are a lot of people that are double agents. You could call Bannon a double agent. I mean, look. You want to talk about a guy who's all over the map. What did he just do to Donald Jr.? Oh, Donald Jr. did something treasonous. Oh, no, I apologize. I didn't really mean that. Donald Jr. he's a good patriot. He's a good guy. What the hell is that all about? You go on record accusing Donald Trump Jr. of committing treason by talking to Russians, of which he didn't do the way Bannon suggested that he did it. And then a few days later, you go on record to say, oh, I apologize. I misspoke. I didn't mean it that way. Donald Trump is Jr. is a really good patriot, and he's a good guy, and I love him. What? And people think that Trump is crazy? I mean, seriously. People think that Donald Trump is the crazy one. Oh, well, I mean, maybe he was a little bit crazy by hiring Bannon, but again, there used to be a popular TV show, was it on AMC? called Turn. Now, I never watched it, but I got the gist of it. And the gist of it is that George Washington had a double agent spy. In other words, this guy was supposed to be he was an American, but it's supposed to be a British agent. But in reality, he was a Revolutionary Army agent, a Continental Congress agent. He was a double agent. So it is not uncommon or unheard of for there to be double agents. We had double agents all through. Wasn't Mata Hari a double agent? Wasn't she accused and caught of being a double agent? So the whole possibility of Bannon somehow being a double agent for the swamp is not surprising. And which would mean that in order for him to be a double agent, he would have to be convincing enough to make people believe, especially Trump, that he was on their side. And then he gets in into the inside, and we've got leak after leak after leak, and everybody's trying to figure out and pulling out their hair. Where the hell? And people are throwing the F-bomb everywhere on this. Where the F is this leak coming from? And then all of a sudden we hear, Bannon may be on the outs, and then Bannon leaves, and 99% of the leaking stops. And Trump actually did say it. I had that. Trump actually accused Bannon of being the leaker. When Bannon went off the rails, Trump said this guy's he's too bad. He's lost it. I mean, the leaker's gone now, so he's mad that he got caught leaking. Trump actually did accuse Bannon of being the leaker, which was probably why he got fired. Well, I mean, if Trump found out that he was a leaker, that's not a probability. It is the reason he got fired. So, but did the press pick up on? No, press didn't pick up on that. Lamestream Media didn't pick up on that. Lamestream Media isn't picking. Well, I'm surprised CNN is actually reporting this. But look, you can put two and two. Well, you can put two and two together and come up with 4, folks. That's the way it always is. It never changes. 2 + 2 always equals 4. I know the left wants it sometimes to be 5, but it doesn't measure up. So who else is going to tell you about this kind of stuff? I mean, hell, I would expect Sean Hannity to be all over this. I didn't even hear it from Sean Hannity yesterday. Oh, I didn't listen to the whole program. Maybe he did. I don't know. But I got to tell you, I'm shocked by this. I'm not shocked by the fact that Bannon is actually the equivalent of a double agent. I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm surprised that CNN is the one that's reporting the story. Because you know what this does? This opens up the fact that there might, well, it's not that there might be, there definitely is. This opens up the fact to the real possibility of other double agents currently inside the Trump administration being exposed. Oh, wait, there's more. Bannon's not the only one. And I'm not talking about the Obama-ite leftovers deep staters either. There are people who are in the administration that Trump and his trusted advisors have brought into the administration who are double agents. I'm telling you that right now. There are going to be more that are going to be found out and spit out. This is far from over. So don't be surprised if you find out there are other people, and Trump will make some. He's going to make some changes, and people are going to be surprised and shocked by some of the changes in 2018 in the Trump administration. I will not be shocked, because it means that he's rooting out the double agents. He's finding them. He said, I'm probably blowing some of the cover here, but without telling you sources. I'm telling you right now that within the Trump organization, Donald Trump and the people that he truly does trust are laying traps for others. Now, I'm not giving up any secrets, but there are going to be some, shall we say, media surprises in 2018 as far as the Trump administration is concerned. So I'm just... Look, it's already happening. Plans are in motion. And it's going to be a bumpy year, but it's still going to be a good year in 2018. And if these people think that a stupid book by this guy Wolf is going to derail anything, they got another thing coming. Because everybody knows that half the stuff in there is fake, false lies anyway, and the other half is being misconstrued and misinterpreted, and so forth. And this whole notion with Bannon now coming out as being the double agent that he actually is and was, is not going to do. I mean, what is it? Wolf said, "Yeah, I only spoke to the president for about 3 hours." How do you come up with a whole book if you only interview the guy you didn't even really interview him? You only spoke with him for 3 hours. And the reality is you probably didn't speak to him for a full 3 hours. You probably got it like in an hour and a half. But it is what it is, folks. I'm just saying, Bannon has been shown to be this. I never did like him or trust him. And Milo mentioned something. Remember Milo, people? Milo also mentioned something that was not very pleasant about Bannon a while ago. I'll have to see if I can find that. I don't think Milo was a huge Bannon fan either. And he worked with him, so he would know. But in any case, Bannon has been outed by, of all places, CNN as being a double agent. I'm not surprised, are you?
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Well, I mean, who else out there might be a double agent? I mean, well, there are people that thought from day one that Reince Priebus, he was the first big name to go out of the Trump administration, and that was, look, all of this shows a little bit of Trump's naivete when he was first running and he first got into office. Because, he was issuing and extending an olive branch to the swamp in a way. He was saying, look, I'm not that bad, guys. Come on. Look, I got some of your own people in my administration. And that believe in what I'm telling you and what I'm saying and what I want to do. So come on aboard, will you? Because they agree. But the reality is that instead of them actually helping him, they probably hampered and hurt him. We may have gotten some. No, I don't have any proof of this, folks, but pay attention to this for a second, will you? We may have been able to get a full-blown Obamacare repeal if we didn't have certain players involved, like Reince Priebus and Steve Bannon. Now, looking back on the past year and seeing what these two people have been involved in and what we know of them now, you got to wonder if they were as double agents, if they were working behind Trump's back, sabotaging his every move. Now, Trump was out. Now, we know Trump is a grand negotiator. He's a master negotiator. He can get almost anything he wants. He always has. Now, he doesn't get it 100% of the time, but he gets what he wants an amazing amount of time. So this is something that the American people wanted as well. They were putting pressure on their elected representatives. So why couldn't they get it done? What did Bannon and Priebus have in the Senate? What were they doing in the Senate? What were they doing behind the scenes in the Senate to kill this? Because let's face it, the House actually passed it a couple of times. And believe it or not, Paul Ryan actually got the job done. Mitch McConnell, for whatever reason, I wouldn't say that he couldn't get it done. He just wouldn't get it done. And you gotta ask, did Priebus and Bannon have anything to do with that? And if they weren't in the administration, would we have gotten a full-blown Obamacare repeal? Now, I'm starting to believe that we would have. Now, folks, you got to understand that the deep state just isn't just a bunch of Obama leftovers and liberals. They're not the only deep staters. You have to understand that the deep state and the swamp monsters, they're one and the same. And swamp monsters don't actually have to live in D.C. Bannon didn't live in D.C. until he got the job with Trump. And as it turns out, it seems like Bannon's a swamp monster. I mean, are we all putting all this together now? Are we starting to see what was happening in the first year of Trump's administration? Are we starting to see... there are other people that are hiding, that are double agents. I have no doubt about that. I mean, just think about it. The things that Donald Trump wanted to do are every time you go to even the most liberal of polls. Now, I'm not talking about Donald Trump's approval numbers, but the things that Donald Trump wanted to do, said that he wants to do as part of his agenda. Every time you go to even the most liberal of polls when it comes to certain agendas that they want to poll, they find that the American people are behind Trump on that particular agenda. Yeah, we want Obamacare repeal. So many people wanted it, but it didn't happen. We want tax reform. It almost didn't happen. Notice how tax reform happened after Bannon left. Anybody notice that? Is it just me who's picking up on this? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, folks, but you just gotta wonder sometimes, don't you?
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans. Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer.
When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
There's a new mobile phone service out there that I just literally got wind of over the holiday week, and really over the past week, actually. And I got wind of it by watching Hulu, of all places. I haven't seen it anywhere else. And it's this Google thing called Project Fi, F-I. Has anybody heard of it? Well, evidently it's a new service by Google. So, well, I mean, if you want, it's a cell phone service run by Google. Google acts as the carrier. Now, what I just did basically what they're doing is that they're utilizing, they're cheapening the service a bit. For a flat $20, now this is a prepaid service, but for a flat $20 per month, you get unlimited talk and texting, and you pay for your data at a flat rate of somewhere around $10 per gigabyte. So if you only use 1 gig, then you pay just $30. Now for me, what is my bill? It's like $45 on Verizon a month, and I'm getting 2 gigs, I think it is. I don't know. I rarely ever go over a gig of usage. And I'm utilizing, it's because I'm always at places that have Wi-Fi. So when I'm at home, when I'm using the phone, it uses the Wi-Fi, not the data. When I'm at other places, the phone has got a bunch of places set, where it memorizes where the Wi-Fi and access codes and everything. So I'm hooked. I often get hooked up to Wi-Fi when I go places. So therefore, I'm not digging into my cell data because I'm using the Wi-Fi. So I rarely go over 1. So actually, I would be able to reduce my my monthly bill to about $30 a month from $45 or so, right? Constantly getting cheaper. But I'm just starting to dig into because I just see these quirky commercials about Project Fi. I'm like, what the hell is that? And so I just got a brief understanding of what it was when somebody, here's a brief thing about Fi, man. Okay. So this is what it is. It's $20 a month for the talk and unlimited talk and text, who really talks a lot anymore. Texting I can get. I understand. People do a lot of texting, but over talking. And you get $10 per gig of data usage. And you don't pay any wild overage fees either. So if you go over your gig, then the following month, based on $10 per gig, you have to make up the payment. You pay a little bit more. Or if you don't use the gig, I guess, you get some sort of refund. And you pay a little bit less for the next gig, whatever. That's what I'm getting. It's interesting, and it uses a combination of all three. Not all three, but 3 major mobile networks, including T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. I guess is what they're using, and your phone intelligently switches between them. But you are limited in your phone choices, I guess. You can't use an iPhone. No Apple products, and I think no Samsung products. It's got to be, all the Google phones will obviously be used, and a few others. And you can also use a SIM card, I was told. that supports any tablet that uses T-Mobile. There you have. I mean, I'll look more into it, what this is, but it could be promising. But if you're going to limit the kind of phones that you're going to be able to use, that's probably not a good idea on Google's part, because those other phones, they kind of suck. But hey, go for it if you want. Check it out. That's Project Fi by Google. Well, I mean, if you don't like Google, then don't get the service. I understand. I'm just telling you that it's out there and what it is, the basics of it. I haven't really delved deep into Project Fi, but if you know more about it, if you know anything about it, you probably know more than I do. So, $30 a month, you can get. For most people, that 1 or 2 gigs a month is all they use. So for $30 or $40 a month, you're basically getting unlimited that you want, or unlimited usage that you use. Just saying. So I don't know, but some people have true unlimited stuff out there. I don't know what that is anymore. Was it T-Mobile that was slapped recently for slowing? I mean, this is how sneaky they can be. Was it T-Mobile? I think AT&T was part of this too. They advertised as unlimited, but if you went over a certain threshold, like 4 or 5 gigs or something of data, they slowed you away. They slowed you down so slow that you didn't even go, because right now everybody's the 4G thing. Is that what it is? 4G LTE. Well, they slowed you down. These networks, they slowed you down. I didn't even think it was still available. They didn't even slow you down to 3G. They slowed you down to 2G. I didn't even know that they still had 2G out there on the towers. But in any case, if everybody's on a 4G network, everybody's got 4G phone. I didn't even realize that it wasn't 2G that they're actually, because nobody, if you have an old phone, a really old phone, which was basically 1 and 2G, then those phones really don't work anymore. But what they do is they slow you down to 2G speeds, basically. Now, again, what I said is I didn't realize that 2G was still available, because we've gone way, we're not even at 4G anymore. We're 4G LTE, which is different from 4G. We're on the cusp of 5G. But they keep telling us that 5G is not going to be until after 2020. And there's reasons for this. Not because they can't effectively and affordably build it out, but because 5G is just so damn fast that no phone that available today will work on a 5G. No, not even the the iPhone 10. It will not work on 5G. And 5G will kill. It will kill cable. Because it'll be faster than cable, and you got some of these cell phone companies are either embedded in the cable industry, or they have some sort of, like Verizon and their FiOS. Now imagine you don't need FiOS now if you've got 5G. This is why they're holding on to it. The problem is that somebody who doesn't have ties to the cable industry is going to issue a 5G phone. And somebody's going to have a 5G network, and all the others are going to have to scramble to match it. And notice how a lot of these cell phone companies are team. Was it does Verizon or is it AT&T gives you in their pricing gives you Netflix? Is it free Netflix? And Sprint now is giving you free Hulu, I think. So there's a lot of this commingling that's starting to happen prior to 5G. 5G is going to be a game changer. 4G was not a game changer. It just made things faster, a little bit faster, but it wasn't a game changer. Now, 3G really allowed for smartphones. That was a game changer. 5G is going to make 3G look like, I don't know, going from test tubes to solid state. it's going to be well. I mean, I guess you could say it would be solid state to the or test tubes to the digital era. That's how much difference there's going to be between 4 and 5G. It is from what I have read and looked up about 5G. I can't wait for it to get here. Except the problem is that a lot of stuff that is built today around 3 and 4G is not going to work on 5G at all. Not going to be able to handle it. So you better save your pennies, because the first stuff that comes out in 5G is probably not going to be cheap, but the price will probably come down, it will erode pretty rapidly as everybody starts to adopt to it. So, you're going to have the dual networks for a while. You're going to have networks that run both 4 and 5G, simply because people aren't going to overnight switch over to 5G products. But they won't be able to keep it from us for too much longer. Now, Verizon supposedly is going to test 5G next year, 2019, in certain markets. AT&T has said the same thing, that they would be so once they get to the actual live testing, it's not because now they've got the money invested. Now they're gonna want to reap a return on that massive investment. So it's not gonna be too long after that. As long as they're being truthful and accurate, and they're gonna do some testing in 2019, you figure about 2 years after that, it'll start really hitting the market. So sometime after the next presidential election, we'll be getting into 5G, which will change everything. It's not that far off. Think about it. It's not that far off, folks. This is 2018. You're talking next year is 2019, and 2 years, just 2 years, it's 2020. That's it. It still seems like it's far away, but no, it's only 2 years away. People are, it's a milestone. Any case. So that is that. Crypto. Here's an update on the crypto stuff. Crypto, look, again, I don't even know a whole hell of a lot about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and was it Ripple, which is and cloud money and all that kind of stuff. But I said that there was a major problem with it because this stuff would be too easy to manipulate. No, it wasn't too. It was just last week I was bringing this up. Well, the Wall Street Journal has something here that makes my point. A crypto website changed its data algorithm and $100 billion in market value vanishes. Wait, what? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP fall sharply after CoinMarketCap.com removes data from some South Korean exchanges. Now, here's the problem. Here's the reason why. It's removed from prices for some of the most popular cryptocurrencies dropped sharply yesterday. One apparent reason, an adjustment from popular website on its digital currency price quotes. A website called CoinMarketCap.com removed data from some South Korean exchanges from its price quotes for a range of virtual currencies, including Bitcoin. And it also include Ethereum, ETHEREUM, and Ripple's. I brought you the news about Ripple not too long ago. Ripple's XRP digital currency. The move followed South Korean government's crackdown on cryptocurrencies. I also told you that governments were going to start doing this because they're not the ones that are printing it. They're not the ones that control it. And there's not a government on this planet that doesn't want to be able to control its money supply. I have warned people about this. They think, oh, it's going to be so anonymous and we can do this with it and they can't stop us. You want to make a bet? When governments catch wind of this and see that it is catching on and is replacing their fiat currency, they're going to crack down on it. And they're going to crack down on it hard. If they don't crack down on it or ban it, they're going to take it over. And because of what South Korea is doing in their regulations with cryptocurrency, well, this one website who tracks all this, kind of like the Industrial 400 on the Dow Jones. I guess they're the Dow Jones of cryptocurrency. Well, because of this, they had to change their algorithms and take down some information and change their data, and the market lost $100 billion overnight. Now, I don't know what that comes down to as far as each individual cryptocurrency and what its value is, but $100 billion in a new market like this that doesn't have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in market cap is a huge drop in value. And I've warned people about this, not to jump into this cryptocurrency stuff. Don't get caught up in this FOMO, fear of missing out type of thing. I have no fear of missing out. I don't. If I miss out on a so-called great opportunity, oh well, I don't know how you could. Folks, I'm not a good predictor, so because I don't have a crystal ball. But I'm telling you right now, I do not believe that Bitcoin in the end is going to be the big daddy of cryptocurrency. I don't think so. I think they're the early innovator, the early adopter, but they have too many problems. They have too many issues. They have too many people wanting to crack down on them. Screw the other cryptocurrencies, just them alone. It is going to be a bloodbath at some point. And I don't think that Bitcoin is going to come out on top. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm just making the prediction. It isn't going to be Bitcoin that's going to be, Bitcoin may have laid the foundation for this, but they're not going to be the it currency by the time all of this, weathers the storm and blows out. It's going to be something. Who is it? I don't know. Is it going to be a traditional blockchain cryptocurrency, or is it going to be a cloud-based cryptocurrency? I'm thinking it's probably going to be cloud-based. The problem with blockchains is that you need to have an anonymous group or system of servers out there. And this is this whole Bitcoin mining thing. You got to have this anonymous group of servers, and at some point these countries are going to say, no, you can't be anonymous with this crap. And when you start being taxed on your Bitcoin, your cryptocurrency, your known cryptocurrency, when you're actually being taxed and you got to pay real dollars, not crypto dollars to your government and taxes, it's coming too. That's coming too. Don't doubt me on this. All of this, this blockchain anonymity is going to go away because governments are going to want tax money from it. If they're not going to be able to fully control it, they're going to want to tax it. I'm just telling you. And the only way that they can make it a little bit more difficult is if you go cloud-based where there is no middleman. I think any cloud-based currency might be the winner in this, and that isn't Bitcoin. Just warning you folks, don't say you didn't hear it here.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, But now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
That these cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, are running into is the fact that they do have an issue with world governments, and it's not just going to be Bitcoin, but Bitcoin versus regulators, and the question is who's going to win? Well, obviously the regulators are going to win because let's face it, we're talking again. The reason behind it is because there isn't a government on the planet that doesn't want to be able to control its currency. Now, granted, there are some countries that use another country's currency, but it is the choice of that particular country. Like Ecuador uses the U.S. dollar as its official currency, but it's that government's decision to do so. And they have a little bit of control over that. You know, if the U.S. dollar acts up too much, they can change. The bit currency is a little bit different. And basically this was a real realm of, you know, nerds and criminals at first. And yeah, I mean, that was, you know, we heard about cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, being used by drug dealers. That was the first problem that they had. You know, people like cartels were using Bitcoin. Well, that's true. It was out there. But now what you've got is you've got the risk of hacks and other kinds of scandals. Now, well, you can't hack a Bitcoin. Well, evidently you can. Yeah, because the risk of it is, as it becomes more and more popular, you're going to get criminals that are going to figure out a way to steal Bitcoin. They figured out a way to steal every other kind of financial data. They're going to be able to steal Bitcoin data as well. And governments are going to be on the lookout for that. And the only way that they're going to be able to protect each nation's individual citizens as well as their own government from such things is that they're going to have to regulate. And that means the whole very narrative of this, you know, cryptocurrency's freedom and anonymity and all is going to go out the window. I'm just saying, will Bitcoin be able to, you know, this blockchain stuff, everything's supposed to be anonymous. Will Bitcoin be able to stand if it can no longer be anonymous? I'm kind of betting that the answer to that would be no.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one. Together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
And a pleasure to be here with you this morning. Glad that you're all here. We've got this whole thing with the Trump people, Trump supporters, and not being who you would expect them to be. Well, for instance, Roseanne Barr. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess a lot of people didn't expect Roseanne to be. Is she Roseanne? She's not Roseanne Arnold, right? It's Roseanne Barr. Is that her maiden name? Because she divorced her first. It wasn't her first husband? Wasn't it Barr? It's not her maiden. Barr is not her maiden name, is it? I don't know. Well, that was a mistake. She's admitted that like loudly before, that divorcing her husband and marrying Tom Arnold was a huge mistake. Now, I don't know if she would. Well, obviously she didn't go back to her first husband, but she said that Tom Arnold was a huge mistake. In any case, it was. And if you ever watched Roseanne. If you ever watch when Tom Arnold's character was introduced, what did he try to do? He tried to seduce Roseanne, did he not? Away from Dan Connor. He tried to seduce Roseanne. Well, that's what happened. And then, is that life imitating art or art imitating life in that particular instance? But anyway, Roseanne Barr was out there fielding questions about her off-screen support and vote for Donald Trump, and actually mirror. Now, here's the problem. She's mirroring that belief into the two main characters, Dan and Roseanne Connor, have also voted for Trump. Now, I don't know if John Goodman voted for Trump as John Goodman. Yeah, I mean, he may have. I didn't read the story that deep to find out what John Goodman's voting practices are. I don't know which. I haven't heard Goodman talk about a lot of political things, so it's not saying that information is not out there. I'm just saying I haven't heard it or read it, so I don't know what his political leanings are. And honestly, you just get, when you talk in Hollywood, you can kind of assume that the big name actor is going to be a leftist, but you wouldn't always be correct. And who would have thought that James Woods would have been this huge conservative that he is? I mean, he's all over freaking Twitter. And who would have thought that I'm just going to, use his daughter's name here. Who would have thought that the daddy of Angelina Jolie would be the exact opposite of his daughter? I'm just, this. So you can't actually assume by their profession what their political leanings are going to be like. So I can't really assume and you can't assume by the roles that they take in movies and TV programs of what their political persuasion is. I mean, I suppose, with Last Man Standing, I guess you could kind of pick it up that Tim Allen was going to. But would you have picked up Tim Allen as being a conservative if he didn't do Last Man Standing? If it was only his previous show and his movies? I wouldn't have actually planted him. Well, I mean, especially from him being from Detroit. I mean, Tim Allen is originally from the greater Detroit area. And remember, this is a guy who didn't he actually go to jail for drug use? And yeah, I think he was a cokehead at one point. Way back before his comedy days, before he got into entertainment. I think that's what led him into, trying to straighten his life out. That's what actually led him into doing comedy clubs and stuff. But we're going way back for him. Because what is he now? He's like 65 or something? He's in his 60s now. So we're going way back into his teens and 20s when he used to get in trouble. Here's the guy who turned his life around. Just saying. But would you have pictured him as, all the movies and TV shows that he's been in? Would you have? I wouldn't have pegged him as being a conservative. Not the type of conservative that he obviously is, and especially not the kind that would stick to his guns even at the point of losing his top-rated TV show. So you can never know. But evidently, Dan and Roseanne Connor are going to reflect at least Roseanne's personal view of how they voted for Trump and standing behind Trump. Now, Roseanne is also out there saying, you know what? All this stuff, because this stuff with the OPRAH out there. Roseanne Barr, now she's been on when the OPRAH had her Oprah Winfrey show. She's been on that show a few times, and it's not that Roseanne and the OPRAH are enemies, because I don't think that they are. But Roseanne says, you know what? I'd be a better president than the OPRAH and Susan Sarandon. And she says, I'd even be a better president than Trump. Now, not that she would ever... Didn't she threaten to run at one point for president? Yeah, but... yeah, I think that was what it was. It was a threat. It was not... it wasn't that she was really interested. I think for some reason, I recall it being a real threat. But she says, I'd be a better president than the OPRAH and Susan Sarandon. And I know some people are asking, why the hell do I say her name that way? Well, because you're trying to show the grandeur of this woman. I mean, we're talking Oprah Winfrey here. You just can't say Oprah Winfrey. You've got to really emphasize it and how people have, because she's the only one. I don't know if there's another. Well, maybe there are now little girls out there. There may be, but Until she came around, I don't think there's anybody ever named Oprah before. So she is the Oprah, the one and only. I mean, she's it, man. She's the woman. So you have to be able to show her grandeur, her size, I'm just not talking about her physical size or what it used to be, but her size as far as her personality, everything. And the only way I could do it is to come up and saying, you got to say the Oprah. You got to really emphasize it. Oprah. Because there's not another one on the planet. So I know people are thinking, that's just weird, Eccles. That's just weird. Yeah, it is. But hey, you got to be a little bit different and weird when you're on the air. So Roseanne is out there saying that she'd be a better president than Oprah. She'd be I think a 10-year-old kid would be a better president than Susan Sarandon, so that's not a far stretch. But Susan Sarandon is just one of those ultra-liberal nut-job lefty Hollywoodites, kind of like Angelina Jolie. It's just, Angelina Jolie doesn't run around pretending that she could be president, but Susan Sarandon is just a nut job. I will avoid watching programs if Susan Sarandon is in it. I'm just saying I do. And there are other actors the same, people in Hollywood the same way. I avoid watching stuff with Ben Affleck in it. Mostly just, he's a nut job, but mostly because he's just terrible. I don't think he's a good actor at all. I avoid stuff with his buddy there in it too. I waited until somebody else had showed. Well, I didn't watch it alone. They wanted to watch it, so we did. The Last Born. I didn't watch the last. I didn't go to the movies to see Born. The Last Born. I wasn't even going to watch it. What was? Was it on Netflix or Hulu? I don't know. Or maybe it was HBO. Anyway, I didn't turn it on, so I don't even know where it was that we saw it. But it was on TV for one of the paid things like Netflix or HBO or something. Maybe it was even Showtime. I don't know, because I didn't watch it. I didn't turn it on my TV to watch it. So I avoid these people. And now I'm at the point where I'm avoiding Will Smith. And I like Will Smith. But Will Smith opened up his mouth, once too often to show the type of liberal idiot that he is. And I'm just like, Will, you're killing me here. Stop it. I like your stuff. Stop talking. Really, seriously, stop talking. But it's good to know where these people are actually coming from. It's good to know where these people are spending the money that we give them. So the reality is I'm glad that Will Smith opened up. And I know Rod, are you saying Smith with an F or Smith with a TH? I'm saying Will Smith with an F. Not TH, PH. Will Smith. Because that's how you pronounce it in the urban, the urban sector. You can't speak proper English and say Smith. You have to say Smith. So that's why I call him. I call him Will Smith. It's much like a certain British accent. Was it the Cockney accent? They don't say three, they say free. 1, 2, free. It's not free, it's three, but they say free. Is that the British Cockney accent? So yeah, you can't, you just got to go with the urban thing. It's not Will Smith, it's Will Smith. So Roseanne is she, and I guess she tries to explain that her TV character, as well as her supports Trump, and she says it's just being realistic as the reboot of Roseanne. Now, I don't know how, by the way, I don't know how they're I don't know what the official explanation for Dan Connor's, because remember the last season of Roseanne, Dan Connor was dead, remember? But she also won the lottery. And I think the last episode said it was all a dream. So I don't know I didn't watch Roseanne then. And so I don't know what the actual ending is. But I am looking forward to, in March, to seeing, giving it a shot, seeing the new show. Going to be interesting to see how she writes the characters into supporting Trump. Because I know that her full cast aren't Trump supporters. Well, Sarah Gilbert, for one. You know, the one who plays the character Darlene, she's a lesbo. And so she's not a Trump supporter. Yeah, just saying. So let's see where that goes. As far as I don't know how far she's going to take it. Roseanne can take it pretty far. I don't know how far she's going to take this, but we'll have to see. And anyway, got some Disney news for you, and some James Franco news. You're not going to believe some of this stuff, but we'll get into all that stuff before the program ends when we get back, so don't go anywhere.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Disney has got themselves into a little bit of a quandary over there in Great Britain. Yeah. Well, Disney is doing the live-action version of their hit cartoon animated feature, Aladdin, starring Will Smith as the genie, by the way. Yeah, just saying, speaking of Will Smith. But there is a fury over there in the land of the English as Disney browns up white actors to star in Aladdin, the movie Aladdin, despite filming next to over 1 million strong Asian community. Now, Disney bosses said that there were not enough Asian actors to fill the roles and the roles certain skills. Studio giants said there was a lack of Asian stuntmen, dancers, and camel handlers. Well, if they're filming in England, how many camel handlers can there possibly be? Aladdin is due to be released in May next year and stars Will Smith as the genie. Now, it's amazing that they're calling them Asian. Now understand that people from India and Pakistan are Asian. They're part of Asia, so they are the continent of Asia, so they are Asian. But when it comes the Iran, all that kind of stuff, they're all that's all the continent of Asia. That's not European. But at the same time, they're also Aladdin is not. Aladdin isn't supposed to be Indian, is it? No, it's not. It's Arabic. Aladdin and the 40 Thieves story is Arabic. But not all Arabs are Asians. Just saying. So why are they picking this? Well, that's a whole nother story. Why the Daily Mail is picking up on this thing that it's a bunch of Asians. Now, Disney has been slammed after bosses admitted browning up its white extras during the filming of Aladdin. Look, Hollywood did this a lot. If you go back in time here in the United States, up until and even including in the 80s, Hollywood would red up white people to be Native Americans. It was rare to see. Not that they couldn't find Native Americans who would be willing to be actors and be on TV. There were a couple of prominent actors back in the day that were Native American, but Hollywood didn't go and seek them out. They just took a bunch of white people and painted them up and dressed them up to look Native American. And they did this going through up until the 80s. Well, go back and look at anything with cowboys and Indians or anything with a Native American in it. Most likely, if you go back to that time frame, you're going to see a white person dressed up as a Native American. Look what they did to Johnny Depp, for crying out loud. He's about as white as you can be, and what did he do? He played Tonto in the last Lone Ranger movie. Seriously. But now Disney is going to be in trouble for it is Aladdin after all, but they're supposed to be this wonderful, wondrous liberal organization. Again, these people that claim to be so liberal and so open-minded and so accepting and wonderful, they turn out to be some of the biggest racists on the planet. It's amazing how this keeps happening. No matter how often you report it or how often it is proven to be so, these people continue to do the same damn racist things over and over and over again. It's amazing. I don't know how they get away with it, but they still do. So the eagerly anticipated live-action production with stars Will Smith as the genie is currently being filmed by director Guy Ritchie at the Long Cross Studios in Surrey, which is about 30 miles outside of London, which is a city with a community of over 1 million Asian people. Now, Disney said it was forced to bring in white actors to fill background roles. They couldn't go out into the streets and just find a whole bunch of Asian-looking people. I mean, whether or not they were, the Asians like Chinese, Japanese Asians, or Indian from India Asians, or Pakistani from Pakistan Asian, or Arabic Asian, they couldn't find any Arabs. London is loaded with Arabs. They couldn't find them either. They had to go and brown. They got to go and brown up. I love how they put this. Any case, there. Now, you got to ask yourself, would Disney be able to get away with blacking up white people to look like they were black? Like they used to back in the 30s and 40s, remember that? I don't think it would happen. They wouldn't be able to get away with that. They absolutely not. Speaking away with not getting away with something, the sexually ambivalent James Franco has just been outed. Franco, he's done a lot of gay-themed, gay-related productions, movies where he's been the star and or the producer and or the writer of the. So he's been very ambiguous. People have asked him about his sexuality, and he's never really straightforward answered. Well, he's been outed. Evidently, James Franco is now being accused of inappropriate sexual behavior by a number of actresses. Yes, that would mean female. So evidently, at least James Franco is bi, but probably because he's being outed by these female actresses, he's probably straight. Well, there you have it. More to come. Don't go anywhere.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Been outed as being, at least bi, but probably straight. I wonder how the gay community is going to feel about this one, because he's been such a gay community advocate with all his gay movie. He's done quite a bit of this stuff too. There was one movie that was on Netflix. So James Franco. I happen to, I kind of like James Franco. Hey, he's a decent actor. He's I tell you one thing, he's got a devilish smile about him. That makes me not want to trust him as far as I could throw him. But because when he smiles, he looks like he could be a devil. But in any case, there was I'd gotten through I only watched the first 10 minutes of it. It was about this gay leather bar or something. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was starring James Franco. And because I put on Netflix that when they have this type of stuff that, who are your actors that you like, and he was one of them. So it suggested I watch this, and I did watch this is gross. But in any case, I don't even remember the name of it. I think it was something to do with a leather. I think it was based on a true story. It was a documentary. I don't know. It was a dramamentary or something on a gay leather bar. It was. I don't even remember if he was in it or if he just wrote it and directed it. I only watched about 10 minutes of it before I said, this might as well be softcore porn or something, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, well, he does stuff like that, and it made people, he was asked numerous times. I've never seen him answer it directly about his sexuality. I've never seen him answer the question directly about whether he was straight, gay, bi, what have you, or some other whatever acronym that they're using nowadays. But evidently, at the James Franco's Golden Globe last night, or the other night over the weekend, lost some of its luster after several women went on Twitter and accused him of inappropriate sexual behavior. Almost immediately after the actor scooped up the trophy for the Disaster Artist, Sunday night, the industry spoke out against social harassment. Franco came under attack. Actress Violet Paley claimed, Paley, claimed that the actor once sexually assaulted her and tried to lure her 17-year-old friend to his hotel room. I'm not saying it's right. Obviously, it's not. But luring the 17-year-old to your hotel room, that's you know how many male stars, be it music or artistic or artists, male art that draw and paint, or actors that could really, honestly, truly be accused of doing this. Because half the time these groupies, they lie about their age, and you actually believe them because they look like they would be older, and then later on you find out they're only like 15, 16, 17 years old. And don't say, well, Rod. No, you don't. Look, being a former bouncer, I've checked the IDs of some girls that try to get into the club, and you would think, looking at them, that they're on the border. Yeah, they could be 21. And they end up giving you this fake ID, and you have to say, well, unless you tell us exactly and show us a real ID, we're going to have to hold you here for the police. And they produce an ID, and they're actually only 16 or 17 years old. And they look like they could be 21. And if we were just going by looks, without you have to check every single ID of somebody coming into a club. That's how you prevent anything. If somebody gets in, and you can say that's under 21, you can say, well, we check everybody's ID. They had a very good fake ID. There's no possible way that the club can be responsible for that person being underage being in the club. Because we check everybody's ID every time they want to come through the door. Doesn't even matter if we know them. Didn't matter if we had to check their ID. They had to have it on them. But there were some times, we probably would have just, if we didn't have to check them all, we'd say, okay, go ahead. You look old enough. And come to find out, they're like 16, 17-year-old girls. So, again, I'm not making excuses, but I can see how some guys, if they don't ask for the ID of a girl, they can get into some trouble. Now, when it comes to guys pretending that they're old enough, women don't usually get themselves in that kind of trouble. They usually know anyway, and it's whether or not the boy is a man or a boy. But and they're how often do women actually get in trouble with that outside of being a teacher? I'm being serious about it. I mean, we don't often hear the sexual scandals of women in a hotel room luring 17-year-old boys to their hotel room. Because boys don't really pretend to be that. Often most boys don't try to be older than they are, unless they're trying to get into a bar or a club. But otherwise, they don't pretend to be older. They're pretty honest about it. They're walking around, hey, I'm the man. I was with a 25-year-old and I'm only 17, man. Yeah, I got it going on. Girls, you want a piece of? I mean, they brag about that kind of stuff. They don't try to be saying it. So this helps older females from getting into that kind of trouble. Although gay males find themselves getting into trouble when it comes to underage boys. Not because they're pedophilia, but because they don't really care about the age. I'm just being factual here. Anyway, so actress Violet Paley claimed that the actor once sexually assaulted her and tried to lure her 17-year-old friend to his hotel room. She tweeted a cute times up pin. Pins James Franco. Remember the time you pushed my head down in a car toward your exposed penis? And the other time you told my friend to come to your hotel room when she was 17 after you had already been caught doing that to a different 17-year-old? Now, I don't know. She's not saying how old James Franco was at the time. Was he 18? 18 or 19? Well, it makes a difference. If you're 18 or 19, who are you going to be hanging out with? 17-year-olds, right? 17, 18, 19-year-olds, right? Just saying. The context of all this is very important. But the problem is that it's yet another accusation of a Hollywood... How old is James Franco anyway? He's not even 40 yet, is he? He's just in his 30s. Right? He's late 30s? I don't think he's in his 40s yet. But anyway, so James Franco She's also called out Franco for allegedly failing to give actresses speaking roles unless the part involved nudity in some of his movies. Okay. In any case, so now you have James Franco being accused of sexual impropriety. I mean, the list just keeps growing, folks. And speaking of the Golden Globes, this Weinstein garbage continues. Weinstein accusers claim they weren't invited to the Golden Globes. So everybody who's out there wearing black in solidarity with all the women who've been sexually abused. I noticed none of them talked about the men or the boys who are now men who were sexually abused. It's only about the women. Remember Terry Crews? Terry Crews is actually, he pressed charges against the person that he accused of sexually assaulting him. And you've got, it's still, he was out there for a little bit, for like a couple of weeks, and then they've tried to shut up Corey Haim once again about the pedophilia ring going on in Hollywood, especially against boys. Oh no, we can't. We can have wear black clothing and black hair. Black hair. There is a one of the Ken dolls. The one of the guys that likes all that, who spent like $100,000 on plastic surgery. Well, evidently he was at the Golden Globes and he dyed his hair black in solidarity with all these women running around on the red carpet wearing black in solidarity against, Weinstein and other sexual predators, right? They were all talking about female solidarity. I noticed there isn't anybody reporting on them, doing solidarity on all sexual victims, including boys and men. Oh, no, I guess that's okay. So I guess we should be expecting Kevin Spacey to be invited back to the Golden Globes next year. Just saying. These people are so hypocritical, it's ridiculous. But Rose McGowan, Asia Argento, and accused Harvey Weinstein of rape, which acted as the catalyst for this hashtag #MeToo and hashtag Time's Up movements. But they, like Marchesa gowns, were conspicuously absent from the 2018 Golden Globe Awards. They and a bunch of other women who have accused Harvey Weinstein and other huge name Hollywood bigwigs were not invited to the Golden Globes. You would think that these particular women would be invited to the Golden Globes and would be front and center. Oh, no, Holly. Oh, we can pretend to be in solidarity with them by wearing black dresses, which is kind of offensive to black people, to tell you the truth. I'm not kidding. I had a story here. Black Lives Matter. It was a Black Lives. Where was that? Black Lives Matter. They mentioned the same thing that I mentioned. When it comes to something, reminding people of something bad, why do they always choose the color black? Well, I mean, some of the Black Lives Matter people, they had brought this thing up. Now, of course, the media isn't gonna report on this, but they brought it up and they were asked, "Well, you ever notice how most of these women are white?" That's because according to this Black Lives Matter female, he said black women wouldn't stand for that. Indeed, most of the vast majority of them are white. They're not colored. They're not Asian. They're not Latino. They're not black. Most of them are not, and it's not because they're not pretty. Casting couch is the casting couch, no matter what it is. And by the way, everybody has known about all of this sexual impropriety going on in Hollywood for decades. But they call it the casting couch, do they not? How long have we known about the casting couch? How long has it been called the casting couch? Well, probably for as long as we've known that there's been, movies filmed in Hollywood. Right? I mean, at least going back to the 30s. Everybody talked about the casting couch. There were even books written way back in the day on telling, female and male potential actors on how to avoid the casting couch and still get parts. This has been known for a long, long time. And now these people say, well, we didn't know about it. Oh, come on. They call it the casting couch for a reason. This is the other part that's very hypocritical about this group of people. Now, I'm just surprised that we haven't had any laws that are to be proposed to try to combat this type of stuff. Now, I don't know what kind of laws that you want to come up with, but hey, the left always is, they find a problem or an issue that has to do with people's moral character, and they think a law will fix it. And all the law does is serve to hinder those who do have upstanding moral character and don't normally break the law. Those are the only ones usually affected by these laws that the leftists want to impose on all of us. And I'm surprised we haven't, unless there has been and I missed it, I haven't seen any laws being proposed yet. But don't hold your breath. I'm sure that they will be coming out with some sort of laws coming out in the future, near future, that they say will fix this problem. You can't fix morals with a law. You just can't. Just not going to happen. So now we got James Franco, who's been outed by a bunch of female actresses on Twitter for, sexual impropriety with them. So I guess he might as well just answer the question. Now he likes women, at least. Weinstein accusers are accusing Hollywood of being full of a bunch of hypocrites by not inviting them. In fact, even blacklisting them from the Golden Globes, including, the Arquette sisters. Roseanne Arquette and what's the other Arquette? Anyway, the Arquette sisters were blackballed, and just the whole mess. And speaking of which, if you are a Justin Bieber fan, Bieber's pastor, that guy that seems so creepy, that he's been hanging around with for lately, told him to take his new love interest, which is his old love interest, to couples therapy. Just so you know. So Justin Bieber has been told to go. I swear that's still such a creepy relationship between those two. I don't know. Rosanna and Patricia Arquette are the Arquette sisters. Yeah, they were kind of blackballed. And I don't know. Was Bieber at the? Nobody's accused Bieber of any sexual impropriety yet, right? You know what? I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I'm fully expecting Bieber to be accused of sexual impropriety by one of his male bodyguards. Just saying.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 plus 2 equals perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
I was asked in the chat room if there was a difference, what the difference was for trading sex on the casting couch for a role, and rape. Well, I don't think that's rape. I think that's prostitution. Now, I'm not blaming the person who is the victim here, because they're told, look, if you want to get a job anywhere in Hollywood, and this is how it works. If you want to get a job anywhere, all you got to do is just sacrifice a little. You're going to have to do this kind of thing on camera. So let's just practice. If you can't do it with me, then you're not going to be able to make it in the movie industry. Because what if your co-star is somebody that you can't stand? You got to be able to act. So you got to act like you like this, and let's give it some. Look, we've heard all kinds of people talking about that. This is how it goes down for the casting couch. It's kind of like it's an audition. If you can't pass this audition, then you're not going to get any movie roles. And indeed, when you get to the more powerful movie moguls, they make sure that you got to wonder how many people, male and female, have been blacklisted who probably had some talent, who were blacklisted because they would not lay down on the casting couch. You really got to wonder. It's probably in the hundreds. Damn it, I wanted to get into some of this Trump stuff today too. Just not going to have some time, so we're going to probably have to hold it over until tomorrow. But if you want, we know that it's not just Hollywood, by the way. Corporate America is also replete with sexual innuendo and harassment. There is a growing amount of, when it comes to corporate and business stuff, there's a growing amount of males accusing their female bosses of sexual harassment in the workplace. So it's not just males who are doing it. But well, it is what it is, folks. You have to be careful out there and you have to be careful because of the touchy-feeliness of everything. It's very difficult or very easy to be accused of sexual innuendo if you just happen to say, "Hey, you look really nice today." I don't care if you're male or female. That's giving the compliment to a coworker, male or female. Doesn't matter. Everybody's so touchy-feely. What? That's sexual harassment to comment on how I look. Okay, then why do you spend so much time, male too, why do you spend so much time getting, primping in the morning if you don't care how you look? Or if you don't care how other people see you? When somebody compliments you, it's nothing more than a compliment. If I compliment you, I'm not trying to get into your pants. I'm just saying you happen to look good. Okay, that's a compliment. Take it as such. Mexico has their own Donald Trump, which could be, if he's elected, they say, of course, is going to be a problem for our Donald Trump. Yes, Mexico's Trumpian populace could mean trouble for Donald Trump. We're going to have to get into this story tomorrow because we're out of time for today. But manscaping has gone way overboard. I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. It has. Ever been to a gym? If you've been to a gym lately and seen all these hairless men out there, and I'm talking, they just shave their armpits too. They're about as hairless as females. It's redonkulous. Yeah, manscaping has gone way too far. But I will not be talking about manscaping tomorrow, but we'll get into more of this Trump stuff tomorrow, so be here. Plus, it is also Intel Wednesday Hump Day, so we'll get the Intel report from Agent 0010. So be here for that. Till then, thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful Tuesday afternoon. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Oppo file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.